Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm your host Kyle Wood. Today we'll be learning all about guitars, but before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. We've heard lots of nicknames for guitars over the years, maybe most common being an axe, but would you believe that the earliest models of electric guitar were nicknamed frying pans because of their shape? What do you think? Is this an actual fact or too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Today's word is luthier. A luthier is a craftsperson who builds and repairs stringed instruments that have a neck and a sound box. This includes not just guitars, but also violins, cellos, and mandolins. The word comes to us from French, where the word for a lute, an ancestor to the modern guitar, is luth. So a luthier literally is a lute maker, and their craft is called luthiery. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about guitars. Number 1. The world's largest guitar is over 43 feet long, while the smallest is shorter than a grain of rice. The Guinness World Record for the largest playable guitar belongs to an instrument measuring an incredible 43.5 feet long and 16 feet wide. This colossal guitar, built by students in Conroe, Texas, weighs over 2,200 pounds. It's an exact scale replica of a 1967 Gibson Flying V, and it's so big that its strings are made from thick aircraft cables. To give you a better sense of its scale, it takes at least 2 people to play it, one person to hold down the frets and another person to strum. In stark contrast, the world's smallest guitar is a microscopic masterpiece. Created by researchers at Cornell University, this miniature marvel is only 10 micrometers long, about the size of a single human blood cell. This tiny guitar is carved from a single crystal of silicon and has 6 fully functional strings that can be plucked by a specialized laser. While it is technically playable, the sound it produces is at such a high frequency that it is completely inaudible to the human ear. Number 2, the guitar's family tree stretches back more than 3,000 years into the ancient world. While we think of the guitar as a modern instrument, its core concept, a body, a fretted neck, and strings, that's ancient. One of the oldest visual records of a guitar-like instrument is a 3,300-year-old stone carving of a Hittite bard. This carving, found in modern-day Turkey, clearly shows an instrument with 3 strings, a distinct neck, and a carved body, proving people have been rocking out for a very long time. Other ancient ancestors include the cithara of ancient Greece and Rome, and the tambour from Mesopotamia. These early instruments spread and evolved through different cultures over thousands of years. From the Middle East to the Roman Empire and into medieval Europe, these stringed instruments gradually changed in shape, size, and number of strings, eventually leading to the Spanish vihuela, the direct predecessor of the guitar we know today. Number 3. One of the most famous electric guitars ever made started as a fence post called the log. The legendary musician and inventor Les Paul was obsessed with solving a problem that plagued early electric guitars: feedback. The hollow bodies of amplified acoustic guitars would vibrate along with the sound from the amplifier, creating a terrible howling noise. Les Paul hypothesized that a solid block of wood wouldn't have this problem and would allow notes to ring out much longer, a quality musicians call sustain. Around 1940, working late into the night in an Epiphone guitar factory, he created one of the first solid-body electric guitars. He took a 4x4 pine post, which he called the log, attached a guitar neck and his own hand-wound pickups, and created his prototype. To make it look more like a conventional guitar and be easier to hold, he sawed an acoustic guitar body in half and attached the two wings to the sides of this log. Gibson Guitars famously rejected his invention at first, calling it a, quote, broomstick with a pickup on it, end quote. But a decade later, his ideas led to the creation of the iconic Gibson Les Paul, one of the most famous guitars ever made. Number 4. A guitar was the first musical instrument to be played and recorded in outer space. In 2013, Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield created a viral music video while serving as the commander of the International Space Station. He performed a moving cover of David Bowie's classic song, Space Oddity, strumming a guitar while floating in zero gravity with the Earth visible through the window behind him. It was a beautiful and poignant moment that connected millions of people back on Earth. The guitar was already on the space station as part of a program to support the crew's psychological well-being during long missions. Commander Hadfield's performance wasn't just a fun video, it was a historic first. It marked the first time a song had been recorded in space and showcased how art and music are universal experiences that can't be contained by gravity. And our fifth and final fun fact, there's an official air guitar world championship held every year. That's right, the act of pretending to play a guitar is an internationally recognized competition. Since 1996, the Air Guitar World Championships have been held in Oulu, Finland, attracting competitors from all over the globe. Participants are judged on a variety of criteria, including their technical skill, stage presence, and, quote, airness, a special quality where the performance transcends imitation and becomes an art form in itself. The official motto of the championship is, "Make air, not war." And I think that's something we can all get behind. Contestants perform to a song of their choice and then an impromptu song chosen by the organizers. It's a wonderfully quirky and joyful event that celebrates the passion and energy of rock and roll. Now for some news you can use. If you want to learn to play guitar, a simple but game-changing tip is to focus on pressing the strings with the tips of your fingers, not the flat, fleshy pads. Try to keep your fingers arched as if you were holding a baseball, so they come down onto the fretboard from above. You want your fingernails to be almost perpendicular to the wood of the fretboard. This is important because using your fingertips creates a much cleaner and clearer sound because you're pressing the string down firmly in a single precise spot. Using the flat part of your finger can accidentally touch and mute adjacent strings, leading to buzzing or dead notes, which is a common frustration for beginners. Secondly, this technique builds good habits for playing more complex chords later on, as this arched finger position allows you to fit multiple fingers onto the fretboard without them getting in each other's way. Now, building on that idea of clean playing and not getting in each other's way, here's a tip for when you start playing with other people. Remember that the rests, the notes you aren't playing, can be just as important as the notes you play. When you're in a group, it isn't about showing off your own instrument, but about making the song sound its best. This means paying attention to the dynamics and sometimes leaving pockets of silence for other instruments to shine. The best musicians don't just focus on their own personal performance, they listen to the whole group and play in a way that complements the overall song. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the show, I asked if it's possible electric guitars were actually nicknamed frying pans. Well, that's a fact. There's a bit of a story behind this. In the big band era of the 1920s and 30s, guitarists faced a problem. The acoustic guitar simply couldn't be played loud enough to be heard over the powerful brass and drum sections. The solution was an electric guitar, and the first commercially successful model was the 1932 Rickenbacker Electro A22. It was designed by George Beauchamp and engineer Adolf Rickenbacker to solve this volume problem. They created a device called an electromagnetic pickup, which uses a magnet to turn the string's vibrations into an electrical signal that could be sent to an amplifier. To avoid the feedback that hollow-bodied guitars created, they mounted this pickup on a solid body made of cast aluminum. Its shape, consisting of a small round body and a long neck, looked so much like a cast iron frying pan that the nickname stuck instantly. Odd nicknames aside, it was a revolutionary invention that allowed the guitar to step into the spotlight. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning about the guitar with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.